Picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing.
Dan, RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having a good time. As always, second part of Agnes and I talking about us pushed out. Really, I think just good stuff in general. We have a little fun as always. It's just it's got to be entertaining for us too. Otherwise, what's the point? But hopefully, you guys enjoy kind of us, our banter back and forth and all that good stuff. Just came in with. I'm surprised I haven't. I did pause it. Well, that's amazing. That was. I'm still standing by. Of course, Elton John or Sir Elton John. I think actually, technically speaking, but whatever the case is, we're gonna be closing out here very shortly. Stick with me. I tried to break it up into nice little equal parts, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. Good.
And I think if you can, because see, I get this up. This is the other kind of question pattern I get. You know, can you help me? I need to forgive this person for what they did to me. It's like, well, okay, are you open to hearing something? Once you understand that it was your projection, you're the conscious creator because of what you had going on, brought this into you. You don't need to forgive the other person. You need to forgive yourself because you didn't know better. Therefore, you couldn't create better. Now you know better, you can create better.
Yeah.
So you get to the point where you don't have to run around trying to forgive everybody because you understand it was you that didn't understand. It wasn't them.
Right.
It was you.
Right.
And then you go, okay, now I know that. I can start to go, okay, I really didn't know any better at the time. I did the best I could with the information I had. Now that I understand everyone as you pushed out, because Neville Goddard has explained it so well, and that he brings everything back to you and the state you were in and what state you were in at that time, went out, pulled something in, even though it was unpleasant, you now know. You forgive yourself. You go, okay, now I've got the information. Now I've got to get good at applying it. The next time around something happens, I will then self-reflect, project out something different, correct my problem into a solution, and then from there I can create the thing that I want.
And that's what I think so many people forget to kind of realize is you can rechange your day. I mean, actually multiple times in the day, but even to make it even simpler, when you wake up tomorrow, it's a chance to start all over. You don't have to think the same thoughts. You don't have to be the same person you were the day prior. And that's where there's a huge amount of success and joy in finding these moments where we are, I'm going to say it, where we're sucking. But it's like, because this is why. And now you know. Now you can change it. Now you can make a difference. And it's amazing how literally overnight, the second you see something and you basically go, no, I don't want to believe that anymore. I see that I have been. Literally tomorrow can actually be a totally different day when it comes to that. You may never see that behavior again. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And I mean, that's what happens. The more conscious you get at what you're projecting, you kind of, rather than always cleaning up messes, you're not creating them in the first place.
Like proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah. And that does take time. And I mean, you know, we're human. We all have emotions that get out of control.
Well, I even wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. You talked about in one of your videos recently, and it was, I don't know, you do so many of them. Some famous person said something like they were really big into the manifesting thing, and by the time they were like really old, they're like, I think I'm 80% on this or whatever. And
Louise Hay.
Louise Hayes, okay.
Yeah, with her thinking,
So that I thought was kind of a good point to sort of bring up, and here's a lady that was doing it for how many years? I don't know, you know.
Well, she was around, my mum was listening to her.
Oh, that was the one for the tumor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was around in the 70s, so she's like,
Goodness.
She's the godmother of manifesting.
Right, there you go. And so, again, even these people that have been doing it their whole lives, 80%, man, come on. Be fair to yourself. Give yourself a chance. Love yourself enough to get better at this. You know, it might be, you might be 1% better 3 weeks from now, but you're 1% better, right? Like, come on, look at it the other way. Is your glass half full, half empty?
Yep. Exactly. And the thing is, it's like you haven't got a ruler where you go, okay, you've gone up 1 point today.
Like you measure the back of your head against the wall. You're like,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I had one of those at home too.
I'm spiritually 1 inch taller. Check it out. I'm awesome. That's what I'm saying. I know. I have issues. My mom did not hug me enough. That's my problem.
No, well, she gave you some damn good imaginal skills. Every time you describe something, I get a visual of it. So it works well for me.
Well, good. Thank you. Anyway.
Yeah. But
the ruler.
The ruler. But it's like people say, well, how long is it going to take me to believe that? And I think, well, I'd love to tell you, but I can't actually measure your beliefs from over here in Sydney or France right now. Can't measure it.
There's
You know,
so many
I wish I
variables.
could.
Yeah, there's so many variables that go into it. I mean, your beliefs, how much you get in your own way, all these things. I think, and that's what. I don't think there's any one magic bullet for most of us. Like it's an issue of how many tools do you have in your tool belt, and sometimes you got to switch it up. Sometimes you got to try something different. Sometimes you got to try 5 things just to kind of keep it fresh. I don't know. It just I think it's like your thinking is almost like a muscle, right? If you do the same thing over and over, it starts to not really work anymore.
Yeah,
so you switch
for
it
sure.
up.
And you hear it from a slightly different teacher or someone that explains it slightly differently, and you go, "Oh, I get that now. I've been listening to that for ages." Because a lot of people say that with Neville, "Oh, I didn't know that's what he was talking about," and it's like, "Well, neither did I."
Yeah.
I've had to read his books from different angles and different, because he repeats his stuff a lot.
He does, and it's a
Neville,
lot of it's through storytelling, which is cool.
A lot of it, which is great, because I think the stories is what makes people get it, not the parts in between where he tries to explain. I mean, some people do because they have got that kind of mind, but for the rest of us that like just general English, and that the stories, the people that tell the stories in their own words, especially in the Law and the Promise, those stories, it's like they're timeless. No matter when you read them, they still make sense in English. So.
Well, and it helps too earlier on, because so many of us lack that. It's that belief thing. That's what so many of us like. It's like, does this really work? Am I doing it right? And it's like when you've done it for years and years, it's just doing it. It's an issue. If it's not happening yet, then there's some other aspect to it. It's not me doing the work. So I think it helps. I think that people can be like, okay, well, these are other people saying it. It's not just this guy that wrote the book, right? Because that doesn't
exactly.
So I think it does get that buy-in factor gets increased a little bit.
And then you get kind of, every time you manifest something, you get stronger in your confidence. And every time you get stronger in your confidence, it helps you for the next thing. And then you get like 10 years worth of it, or 5 years. It doesn't have to even be that long, but you start to get this assurance from the inside, which is exactly what you want. You get self-assured. You stop looking to psychics or tarot readers or mediums to assure you. You start to do it for yourself, and you start to create. I'm not saying those people aren't good, because they're amazing at finding dead bodies and all that stuff, because I know a lot of them that have helped in those, and I think in those circumstances they're amazing, missing persons and all that. But I think when people go to them for relationship reassurance, in my opinion, I don't think that's a wise idea.
Well, I come from that crazy background. Not saying I am, but I'm just saying a lot of times they're doing. Oh, right, and all they're doing is reading your energy right now. It's not It's not your tomorrow. I mean, for the most part, unless they're extremely gifted, I've definitely met a few people over my years that were just amazing. But for the most part, no, they're just reading where your energy's at right now. And if you're going to a psychic, odds are you're already in a state of doubt, right? I mean, why else would you be going? You're not going to just say, "Hey, you want to give me the winning lotto numbers?" It's like, no. So again,
that's exactly right.
You're already in a bad place if you're going there. That's what they're reading. So no, save yourself the $100 or whatever the hell they're charging nowadays, and
go and invest in some Neville Goddard
boom,
books.
Start reading, read something good, So I'm there with you on that. That'll work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, not just Neville. There's Abraham Hicks, and there's so many others. But I mean, I think his stuff is. He's the only one that says imagination creates reality, and you power up by using it, that faculty. And, I haven't heard anyone else say that. I'm not, maybe there is somebody that said it, but I've never come across any other teacher that says it quite that simply.
Did the sun just land on the deck where you're at right now? Did it literally touch down right in front of you?
I'm totally white now. I've got it.
There we go. Oh, yeah, because the sun's just like beating you down. I feel bad for you.
Yeah, it is. And I'm really hot. So let me just try and...
Wow,
that's better.
That's a little, a little modest, maybe. We'll bring that down. I'm so hot, huh? Woo! Wow, you hear this, people? This is, anyway.
Am I too dark, though? Can you see me?
I can see
you.
It's
quite blinding back here.
Yeah, that or you're just so whitewashed. It's, it's like when I have like this funny little problem, and I keep getting like light on me in odd places, so I'll like have to film with my face, like, I can't move. So it's pretty fun.
Exactly.
It's good
for
times.
it to adjust.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. Yeah, so that's good. Anyway, so all that being said. So us pushed out, any other thoughts jump out at you as to the common... Because to me, it feels like a lot of people take it to a level of literalness that I think is...
Yeah, that's true. And I'm glad you brought that up about, if I'm stubborn, does that mean that you're saying someone's stubborn, does that mean that I'm really the stubborn one?
Yeah,
so I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people do think that. And it's like, I forget that that's what they think. So, it's not necessarily that exact kind of thing, but it's like you're saying, if you're projecting, if you're worried about someone cheating, what you're projecting is fear of abandonment.
Right.
What you're projecting is, I'm not loved and I need you to do it. And if I think that you might be cheating, that means you're going to take the love away from me, and then I'll be completely not loved because I don't know that I have got love within me.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's not quite.
For me, the funny part, how I learned that exact lesson actually is going through it and being abandoned and actually I don't mean my mom, I mean a girlfriend. I manifested the relationship and literally got stranded in Tennessee. I was living in her sister's house. Like I rented, it was horrible. So it was like one of the lowest periods in my life, but I realized I was fine. And there's nothing to be afraid of. There was no reason to be. So almost from that standpoint, I got over it because it didn't become something that I was concerned about, something that I was afraid would happen to me, or and of course, just not. I think trying not to associate myself with that part of myself. I think that's been the other side of it. That's very tricky. Is like I think it's more Esther Hicks, but she's like, don't associate with that. Don't keep saying, my mom abandoned me. Because if you keep doing that, then you keep keeping that alive. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and exactly. You got to water the I'm loved, and isn't it fantastic that I feel loved, and isn't it one? And you just shift gears. I remember Esther once. This woman was, in the chair, and she starts her story by going, and I really need some help. I haven't got any money, and I'm not, and Esther just goes right over the top of her. She didn't even wait for her to finish. She just goes, I have so much money. And basically, when I first heard it, I thought, gee, that's a bit rude.
That's so awesome.
Then I realized what she was doing.
Yeah.
She was telling her to be quiet, stop telling that story, and you paste this over the top and you keep doing that.
Yeah.
Stop wasting your time telling this story about what's not working.
Yep.
So it was such a great example to see that, because you can do that with yourself, with everything. I'm not loved. I am very, very loved.
Yes. And that's like, I've done a few shows on that one, is where it's like, try to notice that you're doing it. Like, what can I do to catch myself and change? Just notice when you do it, and then just replace it. Say it again. I mean, just state the statement
just
again.
Say it again.
Yeah, differently, correctly, positive, or whatever. And
you don't have to go digging in your childhood.
No,
Where did it come from? Who created
Who cares?
it? All this stuff.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah.
Catch it right now, change it, realize, that is one of the places I do that. And then, again, once it's brought to the conscious level, I was talking about when you peel an onion, you can't take a layer that's 5 layers down. I can't take it off before I take the other 5 layers on top. I can't. It's impossible.
Exactly.
So take the layers as they come and grow with them. Make the change right on the spot. Boom. Hey, awesome. Be happy. Rejoice. You are now aware of something that has been holding you back.
That's it.
And probably is gone now, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, every time it comes up, if you do that quicker and quicker, then you spend less and less time infecting yourself with the offense, so to speak.
And you spend more and more time not even saying the negative to begin with, because you become more conditioned to kind of stating things in the positive, right off the bat. And you're like, ooh, that was a good one. Like you'll even notice, you'll even maybe pat yourself. It hurts when you do it, but you got to be careful. But sometimes, like, I did good on that. I was just making a statement, and it would have been negative before, and this time it was positive. Right on. Okay, I'm doing this.
Exactly.
And that's all.
It's that simple. You just stop doing it. You just stop going over it. You stop telling that thing again.
Yep.
Because we do whip out what do they call it? Woundology. When you've got to whip it out and go, my mother abandoned me. That's why I'm like this. And this is why my relationships are like that. Oh, my God.
Well, what's awesome is when you get 2 or 3 of those people together that pour me themselves into this awesome resonance of my life's worse and your life's worse and my life's worse. It's like, okay, both your lives suck. All right? You guys should be miserable. Why aren't you crying? Like, it's one of those where it's like, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to be like that?
Exactly. But it's funny, because when you're in that and you do that, you don't actually see that that's actually creating more stuff.
And people don't realize too that, what happened?
I've got 10% on my thing. I just got to go in.
All right. We're on the move, people. Watch out. This is live action video. Is your family in the background? Hi.
Did you see my auntie? She's sitting there.
Oh, I heard noises. I heard voices.
I'm going to try and just video from her kitchen.
Oh, that's awesome. She's got to love this right now.
She's doing the crosswords.
Oh,
She
very good.
can't. She doesn't speak English, so it's easy.
Fascinating, because I speak pretty much no French. Like I can speak very little. So, that's awesome. So yeah, we were talking about how easy it is, I think, to change, alter our thoughts. And when you're noticing something in your life and then you catch that you're talking about it, it's that causation connection, I like to think of it as. But once you notice that and then stop doing it, it's actually surprising how fast a lot of these things disappear from our lives. I think that's one of the ways you almost know it's working.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is really the only way you know it's working, because people say, how long is that going to take? Well, until it stops sprouting on the outside, you know.
Yeah, the second you stop doing it on the inside, right? Like you said, then we'll be able to tell you how long it'll take before it goes away.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. So yeah.
So do you think the way, like you and I still, like we were talking about Hayes, I think what her name was, right? You're saying?
Yeah, Louise Hay.
There you go. Hey, okay. 80%.
Yep.
She was a bit older, and she's 80% solid. That's awesome.
Hang on, Dan. Sorry, I'm right next to where my auntie's phone is. I'll just give it to her so it doesn't drive you back.
All right, we got.
Oh my God!
Oh, that was awesome ringing there.
Oh my Lord!
I hope people were dancing with me. That's all. I was trying to start like a dance, like Soul Train thing there.
Could you really hear that? Was that really loud?
Yeah. Well,
I thought I've got the
it came through
headphones
beautifully. I guess I don't know. I heard it wonderfully. It's going to be in my video. I think it's outstanding. And they will be like that. The guy can't dance. That's probably the first thing. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all about enjoying yourself. That's the important part. Others don't have to enjoy it with me.
But we are.
I sure as heck am. That's in you as well, I hope. So good.
Oh, my God.
All right, so there is some additional stuff that we did together, but I'm not 100% sure if I can play it, first off, because it's got her aunt. Her aunt's talking French. I have no idea what the heck she's saying, but I'm like, bonjour, like a stupid American, because I barely speak Spanish and English. I'm really smart. No offense to anyone that is American. It's like, hey, what you talking about, y'all? It's not okay. I'm just saying, normally in the world, people kind of look at us as very simplistic in our single language, like we can barely grasp our own language, let alone others. But we don't live in a place, too, where there's a lot of crazy languages. We have dialects. I speak Southern very well. Like, that counts. I speak West Coast. Hey, man, like the surf's like brewing today. Like, I was like ripping it through the, I speak languages. It's just not as cool as French and Italian. Anywho, Dan RadioStyle. Hope you guys all enjoyed going out with Uncle John's band, Grateful Dead. Huge tune. And I hope you guys enjoy. If I can get permission to play the rest of the stuff, then I will. I'll put it out there. And if not, it was good. It was us kind of bouncing around. So anyway, Dan RadioStyle.
Come hear Uncle John's band by the riverside.